So today we have a circle that has a whole lot of incoming enemies. It fires at each of them one at a time, and before you know it, the wave is basically done, but not before they actually reach him. At least he gets to move on to stage 2, although already the enemies are a whole lot tougher, and there's more of them. So he really doesn't last very long, and when he does go down, we go back a wave, although we do keep all of the money that we earn. So we might as well use it to upgrade some things like our gun for more damage, and a bit of a faster fire rate. We don't really see it in this wave though, because this is one that can one-shot, but now we're two-shotting them in wave 2. But we can see their stats over here, and they have 4 health, so one more upgrade and then he can one-shot them. But I'll have to do that the next time. And now into wave 2, he's one-shotting them again. So already doing way better than before. They won't even be able to reach him. But in wave 3, it's a bit more difficult. If we do another one, then we can still one-shot, but there are other things that we can get in this little box here. Such as in this little tab here, where we can make the projectiles fire in burst mode. So it's 3 at a time. That should help get through the enemies a lot better and do technically a little bit of piercing. So even though these guys have 14 health, the circle is still able to take care of them all. Although there is definitely more of them, so the health is gonna go down pretty fast. They're doing 26 damage a hit here. So it's about time that we use a nice amount of money that we have and upgrade the sphere's health to 1300. And then a little bit more damage, so now we do 12 damage per shot. So it takes 2 bullets to get through the enemies now, but we fire 3 at a time, so it still works out pretty well. And we do have to make sure that we get farther, because that's how we get more energy here. And I do want to see how far the circle can get on its own. Now, the enemies grouped up like this are pretty tough, but he almost makes it. And something else I didn't mention is that we can just go ahead and click to speed things up, but I don't really want to be reliant on this, because then it's going to take forever for the circle to defend itself. But let's just see what else we can get with the energy points that we have. We have one more slot here that we start with, so why don't we just make the tower big? Just a slight bit bigger, but that also gives more health points. And that is all the room we have down here. We'll need 100 more energy to unlock more slots, but we can still upgrade this and get the size even bigger. Not sure that really helps with anything, but we can still upgrade it and do better things. And then we move on to wave 6, where the background is different, and we have new types of enemies, including whatever that one is. Maybe we don't let that reach us? It's a bomb. Oh, good thing we didn't let that reach us. But the health that we have right now doesn't come back, so maybe we should have gone for the regeneration. But at least we can put some upgrades into health to get some of it back, but we'll probably need to back up a little bit just so we have more health points. And at least the fast enemies don't seem quite as healthy as the normal ones, but we can still give our circle more health. But man, the circle stands no chance when it's trying to do everything. So we're knocked back to wave 5. At least our circle can take care of everything there. But wave 6 is where it gets a little bit tricky, because the normal enemies have 35 health. So we just upgrade once more, and then we can take care of them all, preferably a few at a time, which seems to be pretty easy to do once they actually get within point blank distance of the circle. But now we have 135 energy points. So we can get another slot down here, and then unlock something new. And we're probably gonna want this regeneration once we get enough energy points for that. So why don't we help our guy out here, which gives us a bit more energy, 35 energy. So now we can actually get that HP regen. Or we can go ahead and get something else, such as a melee weapon. I like this idea. So we have a constant sword of protection around the center here, and it does only 4 attack. That's not very much, but it does weaken them. We should probably upgrade that a whole lot more, so that way it actually becomes a force to be reckoned with, doing 338 damage. We're gonna make this thing into like a little lawnmower, and it is very effective there. They all get grouped up and sliced down. That is amazing. But now we need 500 to get another slot here, and I feel like pairing up the sword with the size of this thing isn't the best combination, because a bigger size means the sword has more room to travel to get around, and I don't think that works out very well. But what also doesn't work out is the gun not doing enough damage, so we can raise that to 100 and nice damage, and a few more health points here. So now our circle actually has 10,000 points. Hopefully it's good enough to survive things. We are onto wave 9, which is where we went down last time, but this wave is just about done, so we can move on to wave 10, which is a danger wave, it looks like. Oh, because there's a new enemy type there. It's like a stretched tennis ball. And now we got the enemies in like Galaga formations. This is very not good. We might have to step in here. At least all the enemies are still susceptible to sword death, but we did it. So that's 50 more energy there, a new record, lots of money. We have 100,000 monies already. Wow. really upgrade the thing. The sword should still be doing a good amount of damage, but I do kind of wonder if it's actually better to just have the individual bullets do their own thing instead of having them in burst mode. So we can try that here. It's still pretty fast, and it's still one-shotting them, so I think this might be better. That also opens up room for something else to go in, like projectiles piercing enemies. This is a good thing to get. And then we can upgrade even more pierces, so we can still take out groups of them bunched up together the next time that we do this. And as long as the individual bullets one-shot the enemies, we'll be okay. But let's also get our tower a bit more size and health. 151,000 health now. Wow, our circle should hopefully last quite a while there. It's like one of those optical illusion, like vision things where you just like stare at the circle and then everything around it disappears. And we are making everything disappear. So it all works out very nicely. Although the weapon now is very expensive to upgrade. But thankfully our guy hasn't actually lost any health yet. But we do have to be careful once the enemies get close to us because they do 4,500 damage. So we definitely don't want a lot of them grouped together, like at all. And the background changed again, so there's another enemy formation there, but they get chopped down, and the bomb actually made it to us, which is not nice. And the enemies are surviving the sword hits, so we need a lot more damage there. 31,000 damage for the sword. And I didn't realize how many energy points we were collecting, so we could probably get something else, like another energy slot here. And then I feel like we need something that's gonna be good for crowd control, more than just a single gun and a sword that isn't even present on all sides. So what if we tried the grenade and then upgrade that a few times so it's nice and good? And sure enough, it is launching things out. We have our own tennis balls to answer the tennis balls, and then they just fire out constantly. That's amazing. So if we start clicking, does that mean more grenades go out? It doesn't seem like it, but I think the main thing that's holding our gun back is the lack of fire rate, so we should probably upgrade that again as soon as we can. But also the grenade is much cheaper right now. And even though our gun is doing 5,000 damage, so much of it is spent trying to take out the large tennis balls that the smaller guys make it through. But it's just a few upgrades and we can keep up with the small guys. And the grenades aren't doing nearly as much crowd control as I wish they did. It might just come down to an upgrade difference because we haven't had these for very long, which the explosion damage is 1,800, but they already have way more health than that. And there's a new enemy type here. I didn't even see that. Thankfully he goes down. I mean, actually beat wave 17, and wave 18 just keeps on getting crazier. Look at how many enemies are on the screen. Can our sword keep up? It actually can, but the sword isn't omnipresent, which is a problem. We can upgrade its attack speed though, so we should do that a few times. Although I feel like the damage that these enemies do is starting to catch up with us. But to unlock another module slot, we need 2,500 energy points. And that's gonna take quite a bit to get to, unless we somehow start earning more for completing the wave, which is a task in itself. And the grenade isn't doing nearly what I would like, so let's maybe get something else. Something to help our main gun, probably. An array of bullets that fan outward, that could be good. Although they move very slow, so not nearly what I want. I think maybe the projectile attacks causing explosions is gonna be better. So instead of a few explosions from the grenades, we just get explosions everywhere. That should help with the crowd control, at least it does for wave 18. And then 19, hopefully it does as well. And there is a long stretch where we're not taking damage, so that's good news. But wow, the big guy does a lot of damage quickly. But at least we can earn a lot of money by just farming wave 19 as much as possible. Do we take damage here? Whoa, whoa, those things deal way more damage than I thought they did. High health and attack, you don't say. And doing the health upgrades does actually do quite a bit for us. But either way, all that's left is high health enemies that we can't get through. So we definitely need to start doing more damage. And I wonder if the explosions and piercing is not a winning combination. But I mean, it does seem to work for a little bit there. We did take a tiny amount of damage. And there we have Teardrop Gurren Lagann happening here. And that's really the only enemies that survive everything else that we're doing because they have such high health numbers. But they stay within sword range. Oh, can we get this last one? Can we please get this last one? Oh, we got him. We beat wave 20, just barely, but we'll have to do that again because I feel like we're gonna die here. Unless because that was a boss wave, we actually survived this one, We do have a lot of health points, but that guy just waltzes right on up and takes us out anyway, so back to wave 20. So we definitely need to start doing more sword damage as much as we can, and that should be 1,000,004. I'm not used to this notation, so it's a little bit to get used to. At the very least, we have 1,000,000 and some monies, and we can enhance our size for that, and then a little bit of piercing, why not? More gun damage. And that wave 20 worked a lot better that time. And then wave 21 handles a lot better, excellent. I suppose the piercing is good to get past the high health enemies to get to the ones that are behind it. It's just kind of weird when the enemies are so small that they barely manage to use the piercing. On to wave 24, 115 more energy. We're actually halfway, sort of, to getting another module slot here. But the background has changed again. I think this is what it started as? We are at a new record, so we got a whole bunch of more money. And there is a lot more bombs flying in. I don't appreciate that, but I think it is about time that we upgraded something else. And we failed that wave so bad, we actually got sent back to 24. So we're not doing so well anymore. The thing is, what do we upgrade? Maybe we can upgrade one of the modules that we have, or we actually do have a lot to get something new if we want. Ooh, projectiles bouncing between enemies. I think I might like this more than the piercing. And that's a Gatling gun. I need it. How much can we upgrade this? How strong can it get? 138,000 damage for a very long time might be okay, but we can't do anything without this gun. Oh, okay. Just a large circle of bullets that doesn't last, but each of the individual bullets is taking one of them out. So that would actually work pretty well as long as the sword and the Gatling gun work together. And that some of the enemies don't thread the needle between the bullets. But we're back to wave 26. But some of the quicker enemies definitely do make it through the spray, but we can still keep upgrading it. And that is handling things very good. Now, something else I do want to see is if we take away the piercing and then put the bounce in there, then the projectiles bouncing between enemies should clear out a good deal. Or it's just not doing nearly as much as it used to, because I guess the bounce range is kind of hurting there. So we'll go back to the piercing, or there's a boundary bounce. Ooh, I like that actually. Consuming 2 bounce chance. Do we need both of these together? I hope we don't, but they're definitely not bouncing off the boundary, so I think we do. That's not nearly as fun. We could increase the amount of projectiles. I think I like that idea with the Gatling gun. Just a super dense spray of bullets, which sadly don't one-shot things anymore. And these small guys have 462,000, so we don't quite take them out in one go, but that's wave 27 completed. On to wave 28, with a whole lot more money that we can spend. Maybe putting it towards health. Oh, so that's 1,000,000. So what was the notation before? Just 100,000? What's the point of all these numbers if you're just gonna throw a K at the end of it? I finished math in high school, so I wouldn't have to think about numbers this hard. And instead, just focus on the enemies trying to hurt me, of which there is a lot of them. But we're almost to wave 30. Just as long as we can take out the mini dudes with the mini gun. Oh, the notation messing me up. I know there's already plenty of comments about that. But you know what? I'm not worried about it, because we're at wave 30. Whoa! What was that? They just flew right into the sword and died. Please do that again, so I don't have to worry about these enemies. And we upgrade the minigun some more. And I guess we should upgrade the sword some more, because the big enemies do make it all the way to us, and we definitely gotta take them out. I also have no idea what this guy's deal is with the water thing. Slowly recover health after being attacked. Don't like that at all. I also don't like that this thing is not doing the damage that I wish it did. But we definitely need better defense, because the gaps in the Gatling sprays are starting to hurt us, I think. And the sword isn't doing nearly the amount of good things to the big enemies that I wish it did. So I guess for right now, we can loop wave 29, since we know we can beat this, and then farm up a lot of resources to win things, along with the energy, because it might be a good idea to get another module slot, since there's multiple things that I want. Also, definitely need something to go along with the Gatling. It's not so great by itself. And we're also not getting explosions, I just noticed. Even though projectile attacks say they cause an explosion. Ah, but it doesn't have the projectile property like the gun has. I didn't realize that. So that's a free slot we can open up. And that's also why we're not getting the increased number of projectiles. That's disappointing. But maybe having the Gatling gun knock back things would be good. So we can get that in here, probably. But maybe we need a module in a different category, like this HP regen per second. About time we got this. So right now we can regenerate 6% every second, which is actually recovering a great deal. This might be the thing that helps us survive wave 30. So even when the enemies hit us, we do recover a good deal of energy back. And by energy, I mean health. And the big enemies do reach us, so as long as they don't group up, which is helping that the Gatling gun is pushing them away, this is actually kind of helping. Although it does to a point. Once again, we're back to the big enemies being the only thing that survive. Is there anything that we can get that will boost the sword? Probably. Fire a sword when sword move a circle. So when it makes a loop around, it fires a sword. I understand that. It sounded weirder to read it than to say it. Ooh, the number of melee weapons. This would actually be good to get. The only problem is though, we are spending a lot of energy, so we can't actually buy a new module as soon as I would like. So we might just have to let this ride for a bit, since we do get energy for completing a wave. And 145 is a decent amount to get, so we don't have to do this too many times before we can get a new thing. And it is pretty surprising the difference between this wave and the one that we can't beat yet, because the tennis ball enemies that show up here go down pretty quickly. Oh, but we have one of those. This would be good practice, because those guys regenerate and they showed up, but they also disappear very quickly here. So I guess not too much practice. So sure enough, the problem that our circle has is getting overwhelmed in melee range, because if they're in melee range for me, then I'm in melee range for them, and I don't like that idea. But let's go ahead and upgrade the damage here a little bit more. That should help things, and the sword damage, and a little bit of extra health, which I think is compounding here from the bigness, because this is percentage instead of a flat number. I think that's how that works. But now we have enough to get another module slot. And the good news is we probably don't need to buy anything, because we have a lot of bits that we have. Like, let's see, the number of melee weapons. If we do one of these, then we have 4 swords spinning around. That might help with the melee range problem, and they all should have the same amount of damage. So let's end this loop, go to wave 30, and then immediately fight the teardrops with the sunglasses, which go down. The knockback is helping out a great deal. Even the bigger ones don't stand much of a chance. I think we have this now. The Umbrella Corps enemies are closing in, but they get chopped away very quickly. Our circle has become quite the lawnmower. Whoa, okay, that's bright and pink. But we have a new record, so that's a lot of money with it too. We could get more swords. This goes up to 10 levels? Wow. I feel like just this one simple fix has really set new things for us. But I can also see it is time to upgrade our Gatling damage, because the small enemies aren't one-shotting anymore. Thankfully though, they are now. And the next slot is 12,000 and a half energy to unlock, and we're only earning 165. This amount that we're earning per wave completion isn't going up very fast. At least the money gains is. Now we should look at what's cheap and probably upgrade from there. So the bigness is cheap until it isn't, and then a bit more health. We have a lot of health, and the regeneration is percentage based, so I think our tower is a lot more invincible now. Yeah, these waves aren't lasting nearly as long as they used to, but these guys that heal definitely are a problem, and so are the big tennis balls. I'm still gonna call them that, even though I just realized they look more like footballs. They're green and they're almost ball shaped. You can see where I'm coming from here. And it is good that we do have more than one sword, because those small enemies, even though they don't get one shot from the Gatling gun, they get chopped up pretty nicely here, but this guy has a lot of health. But how about we get another sword, because a lot of them are making it to melee range, especially this regeneration guy that didn't seem very fun. But it is good about the amount of money that we earn, although I think we are gonna need some faster regeneration here if we want to keep up with everything, because we are still going down there. Although we did go like 10 waves before then. That was a pretty good streak, I'd say. So let's upgrade this a bit more. Oh, that only went up 1%. Really? So now we just need a bit more Gatling damage there to start to keep up with things here. And since each wave is kind of random in the enemies it creates, sometimes we pass it, sometimes we don't. So now we're on to wave 40, but there are certainly a lot more enemies making it through, and there is a lot more giant tennis ball enemies here as well. So why don't we start looping wave 39? So the crowd control isn't quite the problem anymore, it's more so the big enemies. So let's see, is there a weapon that we can get that is higher single target damage? Ranged weapons will instantly kill low health enemies? Wow. Also, precision targeting. I'm not sure what that means, but I am curious about that, and this, which we can unlock both. So the ranged weapons should be good there then, provided that the enemies actually do get to be low health, and they don't get knocked back anymore, so our survivability kind of starts to go down. It also raises the question of what counts as a low health enemy. With less than 1% health, that is not nearly something that's helpful for us right now, and that only goes up 1% per upgrade. So we don't need that. Ooh, lifesteal is actually something that would be good. Restore HP equal to percentage of damage dealt. Or the tower exploding. How much more upgrades are here? That's crazy. Increases max health point when damaged. Every 100 times damaged. Interesting. With a number like this, 1% is actually quite a lot. And we do get attacked often enough that it should kick in, but we actually are completing wave 38, so we are getting more energy there for that. Although I want to loop wave 39, so we'll just keep track of the amount here. Taking 100 attacks is a lot, and I hope it stacks through when we die, because we die a lot. It almost is like a puzzle game trying to figure out the winning combination here. But this guy all on his own is able to take us out almost. That is the crazy part. And there's another one of him right away, but thankfully he goes down quickly enough. So we're on to wave 40. Still no health increase though. We probably haven't taken 100 attacks then. Or the number resets when we die, which would be kind of upsetting. So instead of that, how about we just do the powder keg and upgrade that a few times. So if they do attack us, then it's a lot of damage going out there, and we can regenerate it all too. So that is actually clearing out the enemies very nicely, and the big guys go down in 2 hits. Except that guy, because he's a little bigger, but he still goes down. So that means we could upgrade the Gatling gun, even though that's getting crazy expensive. We're still in the K's on this one. And the health upgrade here is still in the K's. We should upgrade that a few times. And then let's get a bit more size there. Oh, that actually is just increasing the HP. So the maximum size increase is only 100%. I'm okay with that. And some of the tennis ball enemies go down, but why are there so many this wave? My goodness. At least we're getting a lot of money here, and we're almost to the end of it, but there's so many stacked on each other. Oh, we got it. We beat wave 40, new record. That means we have enough to upgrade everything. Although definitely more Gatling damage, please. I don't like that that was doing so little. Now, I forgot to notice, but do we get more energy by completing a boss wave as opposed to a normal one? We are breaking new records in each of these normal waves, so that is helping us get a lot of money. And that single boss almost took us out there, wow. It feels like we're not really regenerating enough to keep up with everything anymore. But here, let's loop wave 43 because we got 200 energy for beating this wave. And before anything else, I really want a new module slot. And maybe so the Gatling damage can keep up with the sword damage, which now it can and now it can't. But the swords are like a last line defense, so I am glad that they can do so much damage. Which honestly, those damage increases might be enough to continue the progress that we're making. So wave 44 can have a go here, and the big enemies are going down quickly enough, and there's enough gaps between them that we are able to stay healed up. So we beat it. Excellent. Oh, but only just that one wave. So now we're looping wave 44. Positive steps in the positive direction. And then we get a little more damage here, 500 million. And that's per individual little bullet here, so a lot of those on a single dude is a lot of damage. Which also shows how much health they actually have. But this isn't yet to the billions, so we can upgrade our health a little bit more until it is that. And can we get to 100 billion? There, 150 billion. That's a pretty even number to rest on. Hopefully it's enough to keep up with all the damage and let the healing take care of the rest, which it looks like it is. The problem really is just the amount of damage that these big guys do. But our healing is keeping up. Excellent. So wave 46 with a new background change and a new record. And with 10 billion, we can get another blade here. Is that gonna be worth getting though? I think we need to keep upgrading the damage that our Gatling gun does, because all those bullets stacked together are very useful. The hard part is getting our thing all the way healed up before the big enemies come in, which they really don't, and also a lot of them stack together. That is crazy. And we take more damage than we could ever hope to heal from this in a short term, so maybe we need more explosion damage from the enemies hitting us. So we get one upgrade there. That helps us beat the wave. Well, that was a wave that we were currently at, so we're not making any new ground here. But now our Gatling gun does 1 billion damage per bullet. The basic enemies have quite a lot of health, almost 4 billion health on the basic enemies. So they kind of go down in one pass as long as 3 or 4 bullets hit them, which is not an ideal thing to hope for, really. Now let's just keep going for this big upgrade here until that's worth 1,000 and such. So we have 160 billion health, and we are able to get through wave 47 pretty reliably. So I think we do get another sword here. So we have 6 swords now. That should really help the sword damage catch up to the Gatling damage, especially with the big guy here now. And there we have enough to get another module slot. with a little bit extra in case there's something cool. And here's the Ascension that the thing was talking about, but we need to be wave 50 for that. Good thing we're almost there. And since we are kind of guaranteed to get attacked, maybe this Rage is going to be the good thing to get. So we can increase our attack and attack speed by a good deal, 63%. Not bad. So now our circle is on fire when it gets hit. And boy, does it get hit a lot. So the blades spin even faster. It's like we're using the flames of disaster. So we are able to be wave 48. And I think we do need to upgrade our health regeneration a little bit as well, just so we can be topped up for this wave. And here come even more boss enemies that really put us through the paces. Oh, but we do survive. Can we beat this guy? Wow, he just one-shot us. Upgrade our health a little bit more so we can survive a little bit longer. And then a little bit more percentage here, which it is an entire 5% per upgrade. Oh, and here we are, wave 50. Hopefully our tower is deadly enough. And hopefully the enemies aren't too deadly. The enemies are very deadly. Okay, so let's loop 49 for a little bit, and then get a little bit more tower HP here. 600 billion health. So we have 1 trillion health now, and I feel like the enemies in wave 50 also have that. Now we're not able to stop the enemies from reaching us, but we are able to stop them from doing a great deal of damage. Oh, and this next one reduces the cooldown even more. I do like that, just non-stop Gatling. But that is also incredibly expensive all of a sudden. But let's upgrade the sword damage again, so that's 13 billion damage. Come on, brave little circle, you can do it. I believe in you. Just gotta get rid of all the stupid tennis balls and pretty much everything, but they do all go down pretty quick. So do we. And I really want to get this to double digits, but I feel like the Gatling gun just isn't destined for that, because this is almost level 50 on its own. And we definitely need to put more points towards our health. I would like to see a T happen down here, but I feel like that's gonna be a little bit off. Ooh, we're staying pretty well topped up. Just gotta keep up the attack damage here. Maybe upgrade the sword once more, or a few times here. And we have beaten wave 50. Yes! So that gave us 167 billion monies to do with. So we can actually upgrade to Rage again for a single percentage. But man, the skill jump between the boss waves and the normal ones is crazy. But there is the module. Choose power, try again. Keep half of your module growth, ooh, along with all your energy and module slots. Nice, because yeah, the next module slot is 62,000 energy. Well, if we do start with all those module slots, then we should probably ascend. And we can actually choose the ascension that we want. According to the current wave, permanently increased damage, so that's 52 there. More range attack speed and melee attack speed. This is what gets us the armor module. Oh, but this one's after wave 100? Actually, all these are in 200 waves? Wow, but I am interested in that armor module because that was like an entire tech tree we didn't have access to. So let's choose the Knight Ascension. Spend energy to permanently unlock and upgrade modules. Interesting. So there's the armor one that we had. Armor restored at the start of each wave. When the armor is greater than 0, increase attack. Oh, I kind of like that. But let's go ahead and just upgrade the armor value a few times. And then this heavy armor. Increase armor value, armor will regenerate only after it is broken. So that would mean we wouldn't have to rely on it, only restoring at the start of the wave. Although the waves also don't last very long. I think we need to use some energy to permanently unlock some other things. So I think doing this gold one would be good to get because we haven't really used this. We're also gonna get the sword because I like the sword. It did a lot of good for us. Time to ascend to knighthood. Now we need to actually equip this armor. Oh, it changes appearance? Wow, look at us. But here we get the gun and then we get the armor. And there's the armor, 660. So the enemies are struggling to get through the armor currently, but wow, our sword is incredibly slow now. Resetting is hard because look at us. We're just waiting for them to get close and then swing. Also, the armor isn't regenerating at the start of the wave, or it is just very little. They're slowly getting through it still, and then we immediately die. So let's just get some more armor. Okay, how much does it regenerate at the start of the wave? Oh wait, there's a cooldown there. So we need to keep the enemies away for a lot longer, which involves more clicking, and then we restore it completely to full. Very nice. And this also opens up the door for some other fun synergy things. So if you guys want to see more of that in idle tower defense, then be sure to let me know. That was a lot of fun, and you can definitely tell it gets crazier after wave 50. So thank you very much for watching. Sub to Intern. And I would like to thank the channel members, including Bread, Corby Farm, Dakota, Donamoto, Deviant X, Ancient Elixir, Matthew, Haple Harold, Peggy Sue, Droopalong, Lily Bites, The Miner Within, DeGarity, Sands, V, Killer Squad, Mousy Mouse, Nicholas, Igor Shradi, McKenna Chan, and Liam.